Hi, I'm Sarah Greer with BuyMoreUsborne.com, and today I would like to share with you some of my absolute favorite books that Usborne has to offer. It's the Big Book of series. So there are over 12 books in this series currently, and the one I'm going to show you right now is called the Big Book of Big Machines. This is one of my boys' absolute favorites. This is a very good way to introduce nonfiction text to your children with lots of big pictures. I probably have this memorized. So I started reading this book to my children by the time they were probably 2.5, definitely by 3. And we, of course, would not read about each machine every time, but the kids love folding the flaps out. So you can see this is a very large book, which is what makes it fun. It's the big book. And then I would let each of my boys pick 1 or 2 areas that we would read about, and then we would take turns opening and closing the flaps and move on to the next page and pick 1 or 2 things to read about before we moved on to the next page. So here is this large spread, so you get to see how huge these different machines are in this book. Now, some of the other titles in this book series include the Big Book of Big Animals, the Big Book of Big Bugs, the Big Book of the Body, the Big Book of Big Dinosaurs, the Big Book of Big Monsters, the Big Book of Big Sea Creatures, the Big Book of Rockets and Spacecraft, the Big Book of Stars and Planets, Big Book of Big Tractors, Big Book of Big Trains, and Big Book of Big Trucks. We have several of these, and my children absolutely love every one of them, and I know yours will too. This is a great birthday present. We have received several of ours as presents at only $14.99. It's a great price point. I ended up buying tons of these just to have on hand to be able to give as gifts.